My second area is called Kakogawa, and it took me a while to remember how to say that. So I was a fourth transfer when I went to Kakogawa, and we opened that area for sisters. So there had been 2 elders there, and then my companion and I opened it for sisters. And they hadn't had sisters in, they said like 20 years, but who knows how long it had been, because they didn't remember when they had sisters last. So it's kind of cool to open an area for sisters, because members really do feel like they've like arrived when they get sisters. It's because they're not essential, you know, and not everyone has sisters. And so Kakogawa is like, it's like Kobe's right here, and then this place called Akashi, and then Kakogawa. And so it's kind of like near Kobe, but probably like half an hour train ride, 45-minute train ride away from Kobe. And it's kind of like this weird place. It's just a really weird place. The way other Japanese people describe it, they're just like, oh, Kakogawa, it's like, it's not really a city, but it's not really the country. And it's like, you're not really sure what Kakogawa is. And like, people from Okayama didn't really know a lot about Kakogawa, but my companion who came in with me, like the people from her area knew like, oh, Kakogawa is weird. And so we got there, and like it really is a really funny place, because you get off the train and you're at the train station, and it's a really nice looking train station, and there's like a I don't know what you call it, but like a shopping mall kind of thing, and it's like a big hallway that goes out to like the main road, and there's a lot of shops on the sides and stuff, and you can drive your car down it and whatever, but it's just at the train station. And that all looked really cool, and I'm like, oh, I could get used to this place, this is cool. And so right after that little shopping mall ends, it's like there's nothing, like everything is just kind of like, I mean, like there are roads, and there are apartment buildings, and there are a few grocery stores here and there, but that's about it. And so it's like, you tricked me, Kakogawa. Like, I thought you were like a big city for a second. You're not. And so it is a really odd place. It's kind of industrial. They have a lot of like plants there, you know, like just various things are being manufactured there. And it's on the water. So if you go to certain parts of the area, you can get to the ocean, but it's not like the beach, you know. I always felt like it was kind of smoggy towards the ocean, but at least you could smell the water, you know. You could smell the salt in the air, which for me was like a huge tender mercy, because I'm from Florida. And so that was like the first time I'd smelled the ocean in like a really long time. And so that was one of my favorite things about Kakogawa, was going over this particular bridge, and every time we went over it, I could smell the ocean. And yeah, we were in the middle of nowhere, and like it was kind of, I don't know, a little bit dumpy, like where we were riding into, but I didn't care because I could smell the ocean. So I was in that area with this companion that I opened the area with for 4 transfers. So that was about 6 months. And then we closed the area. So we were there together for 4 months, or for 4 transfers for 6 months, and then we closed and left. So whenever I tell people about that, I don't even have to tell them about my experiences specifically. They just know. They're like, oh, that must have been hard. And Kakogawa was really, really hard. Like, I can't even explain to you how hard that area was. It was a pretty slow area as far as investigators went. And like, I think you can always tell from the beginning how well you're going to get along with a companion. And like, you could tell from the beginning, we didn't really have a lot in common. Like, we wouldn't be friends in the real world, you know. And through the course of 6 months, that turned into, I really cannot stand you. Like, you are so annoying. And like, something that I am kind of proud of from that area is, despite the fact that that companion and I really didn't get along, like we just didn't have anything in common. We didn't like each other that much. No one knew that we didn't get along. in my next area, I was talking to a sister training leader once I actually did get out of there. I was talking to the sister training leader, and I guess this other sister from our zone was talking to her about that companion and she said, yeah, like, I had no idea that they didn't get along, you know, because I guess they were talking about something and this sister training leader mentioned that, yeah, they didn't really get along very well. She's like, yeah, I had no idea. I could not tell at all that they had problems in their companionship. And she's like, and I really appreciate that about them, because like, that's hard to do. And like, I didn't know I was like that effective at like not showing that we didn't get along. But like, that was something that I was really grateful for, that despite the fact that we didn't really get along, we knew why we were there, and we knew that like it wasn't necessarily about us, you know. And I'm just grateful that other people didn't like feel the tension between us. And we actually went out, we like, our district leader that was there with us, he came up a couple months ago, and we like all went out somewhere, and he was with us for 3 of the 4 transfers. And so we were doing something, and he was like, so did you guys get along? And we're like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I don't know, like sometimes like, and we're like, well, do you think we got along? And he's like, well, I think you did, but like, I don't know, every once in a while I wasn't sure. And we're like, mission accomplished. This guy who's with us for 3 transfers had like, he just kind of suspected but wasn't really sure, you know. I think that anyone can handle any companion, because most of the time if you have a hard companion, you're only with them for 1 or 2 transfers, you know, because I think the Lord knows, and your mission president usually knows if you're having trouble with someone. But I don't think either one of us told anyone, and so we were together forever. So if you really, this is good advice, if you really are having trouble with a companion and you feel like your work is suffering or something, and you don't feel like you have anything else to do, just tell your mission president, and like, he'll either tell you to suck it up or he'll transfer you, you know, like he doesn't know unless you tell him how hard things are. And so like, yes, you need to learn how to work with this companion, and it's not about you. And I learned so much from struggling through that companionship. But if like, just tell someone, you know, like, because I never did, and 6 months later, you know. But I don't know, like that area I always felt like was very much the refiner's fire of my mission. And there were just times that I just didn't know how I was going to survive my mission, because it was so hard. Like, I thought being a first transfer was hard. No, Kakogawa was hard. And I just had no idea that anything could be as hard as Kakogawa was. But at this point in my life, I just like cannot tell you how much I love Kakogawa. Like, oh my gosh, just thinking about that place. Like, I just want to go there right now so bad. The members there were so good. Those were some of the best members. There were probably only 30 people in our ward. So it was a ward, but there were like probably 30 people. And they were all old. Like, they're all like 50 or older, you know. We had 1 young woman in the entire ward, and like a couple of primary kids and a couple of young men. And then it was just old people. And they were just really, really good people. And you'll find that a lot in Japan, that the members are really good, because there aren't a lot of them. And they have to be good, you know. They have to be stronger than you or I have to be, because we have a community around us and they don't, you know. I think the farther you get outside of like the bubble here, the stronger you have to be, because you don't have as many people to help you along, and they are way outside the bubble, you know. They are so far removed. But yeah, Kakogawa is a really cool place. We actually got to baptize someone in Kakogawa. Like, I got to be there for it. They did get baptized a couple weeks after I left. And that was a really, really cool experience. Just because with that experience, I think I learned most how to follow the Spirit and not back down once I've received confirmation of something. And with this investigator, we felt pretty strongly that she should get baptized on this particular day. And, you know, we prayed about it and everything. And then we went and we had this, I don't know, something happened, and now I can't remember what it was because it was a big deal at the time. But she had accepted her baptism date. And so it was like end of July was her baptismal date. And like somewhere in the beginning of July, we found out something that we're like, oh, okay, well, she can't get baptized that date. It's going to be too soon. And so we were talking to her about that. We're like, yeah, we're thinking of pushing it into August maybe. And she's like, wait a second, but that's my baptismal date. We already decided. Like, we prayed about it. And we're like, yeah, but you have this thing going on. And she's like, no, I'm getting baptized on my date. And we left that appointment just feeling thoroughly humbled. We were like, right, Lord can do all things, not just some of the things, you know? And so we just knew from that point on that because of her, like, reminding us that, no, we like got this confirmation before, why are we going to change the date now? We knew, okay, she does have to get baptized on that date. And we, like, there were some things that came up that were a little bit complicated. And like the Sunday before her baptism, that next Sunday, she kind of felt like it was too soon. She was getting cold feet, and the whole ward was telling us that maybe she should wait. And it's hard when your bishop is like, yeah, I think she should probably wait. You guys should push back her date. It's hard to say no to the bishop, you know? And the Relief Society president and every member of the ward is just there telling you, yeah, you should like chill out, you know? And so we were all like talking to her, and everyone was pretty certain that we needed to push the date back like a month or something. And so I was like, wait, everyone stop. Like, Sister Shelton and I are going to go upstairs and we are going to pray about it together as a companionship. And you need to stay down here with her, with Satomi, and you need to pray about it with her. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And so my companion and I went upstairs and we prayed about it, and we were just like, yeah, she needs to get baptized. Just don't let them intimidate you out of this. And we came back downstairs, and Satomi was like, yeah, okay, I'll get baptized next week. It was really powerful because it's hard when, I mean, we're not supposed to fear men, right? But we do, you know, and it's hard when these people are telling you what you need to do, and they're older than you, and they're probably smarter than you, and you're just some dumb little sister missionary who's like 19 and knows nothing. And just knowing that it doesn't matter who you are, Heavenly Father can communicate truth to you in any way. It's just, you have to follow it, you know, because He's not going to tell you something explicit and then you not do it, and He tell you another explicit thing later of what you should do. You know, it's not necessarily how He does things most of the time. And so, I mean, like, her whole conversion was a miracle. We only taught her for like a month and a half when she got baptized. And in Japan, our mission president told us the average time for someone to get baptized is about 2 years. And so he always told us, you know, don't feel bad if you don't have a lot of baptisms, because most people take about 2 years. So they needed you, but maybe they needed 5 sets of missionaries and you were their 3rd set, you know? And so you were vital to their progression, but you weren't the one who got to be there when they got baptized. But luckily, we did get to see her baptized. And again, another testimony to me that baptism isn't because I'm a great missionary and because I did so many good things and like, look at me. It's because I just got to be there, and Heavenly Father decided that I got to be there for that baptism. And she would have gotten baptized with or without me. And maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, but like, I don't think I require the credit, you know? Like, I don't think it was me who did it. And she's super cool, and I still talk to her every once in a while. She's a little bit older, so she's harder to reach. But when I go back to Japan, the first place I'm going to go is Kakogawa, because there are a lot of people there that made a huge difference to me, and a lot of less actives that I didn't really get to work with less actives in my first area, but in that area we really focused on less actives, and there were some really, really cool people that like I could go into detail about, but you probably don't need to know all my stories. They really changed my mission. And I think because of the particular brand of struggle I was going through in that area, I was able to help some people go through their struggles that were similar. And so I think that that's another thing I learned, that you can have trials and you can get through them, or you can become better because of them, and you can figure out why Heavenly Father gave you these trials. And I think that if I hadn't had some of the trials that I had in that area, I wouldn't have been able to connect to certain people quite as much. So I'm grateful that, because I actually had a lot of like physical illnesses on my mission. And so I'm grateful that I was such a sicko, because I don't think I could have communicated as well with some of these people had I not been struggling in the same way that they were struggling. So it was like a really hard area with a lot of really hard things, but it's probably my favorite area. And I feel like that's always how it goes.